we have a fascinating new knife here that has a really cool way how it's put together. Now, this is a brand new company. This is their first knife design. However, they have worked with KIZER, so, you know, they're just kind of spreading out, doing their own company. So this is the PIRATECH KRAKEN. The PIRATECH is the new company. S90V blade steel. Now, when we move back here to the handle, this is where the interesting parts come in. If you look, you can see it doesn't have any hardware. Zero hardware at all, no pivot, no nothing. Well, the way they're doing that is the scales are held on by magnets. So it has 4 individual magnets, and you can see right here, that's press fit in there for the clip. So you can swap the clip because, you know, crossbar locks are ambidextrous. Now, this thing is rock solid. I mean, extremely, extremely solid, at least my version is. Now, the way you take off the lock bar side, or I guess you could, I don't know if you, the clip side that, where the clip's right now, is you can flip it. You have to take that screw out. So you just take that screw out and then it will pop off and then you'll get to the other side of the pivot. You can see with both scales taken off, this, you know, is still, you know, a fully solid, capable knife, you know, obviously with the hole and stuff, so it's a little too thin, but, you know, it's really cool how it's all still put together rock solid, you know, without the scales. Now, you can also see the Omega springs are, look how easy that would be to replace those. Like if you needed to replace the Omega springs, these are the easiest Omega springs to ever replace. You know, you just pull the scale off and replace them. So that's really cool. You know, and they do come with extra Omega springs, by the way. So there's one screw holding this one on, but man, what a fascinating way to do a knife design. I mean, this thing is super interesting. Now, what's cool is, man, even though it is magneted on, this thing is very solid. Like you wouldn't know it. You would not know it. You know, like there's no flex, there's no play, there's no movement. It doesn't, you know, they don't feel like they're gonna pop off in any way, shape, or form. It feels very solid, but it makes it to where you can easily modify this. Like you can take this scale off and anodize it, polish it. You could do so much with this thing, with this knife because of the way it is assembled and put together. Now the liners are steel liners, as you've seen, with a lot of weight relief. And you can see these are, at least this one's numbered. This is probably a prototype, but, or no, maybe not, because they are for sale right now, so you can get these. I will link everything down in the description for you guys. So this is not a pre-order knife or anything. You can buy them right now. The clip does work well in and out of the pocket. It doesn't have like a screaming ton of tension, but it has just enough. I like how it ramps up right there. So in the hand, it's actually pretty comfortable. I noticed the clips there, but because of this rounded area, it's actually very comfortable in the hand. Now, the S90V blade. The S90V blade is a sheep's foot blade. The blade stock thickness is about 110 thousandths. Probably it starts out 120, and you know, just from the finishing work and everything. Behind the edge thickness is about 17 thousandths. That's what their edge angle. I actually was a little bit behind it, so you know that it's about, you know, 16, 17 thousandths. But with another edge angle, it will widen up just a little bit, but that's still good geometry. That's really, really good geometry. The jimping goes quite a bit up the blade, so even if you're choked all the way up to the edge, you're still hitting jimping. That little spot right there might, you know, help your finger. This little divot right there for utility cuts. Maybe, maybe not. It might be just a, you know, a looks type of deal. But all in all, man, like it's a great size. Just to show you kind of the size, it is a little tiny smidgen shorter than the large button lock Elementum. But they have, you know, kind of like a little bit of a similar feel to some extent. And you guys know I love that knife. And I just mean, you know, like with the handle's rounded back here at the end, which I also really like. All these edges are knocked down really good. It is softened up really nicely. The thumb studs have a great detent for a crossbar lock. They did a good job tuning that. I always appreciate that because half the companies, for some reason, just can't do it. They chamfered out the edges right here so you can get right to the thumb studs, which have nice grippy texture around the edges. And obviously these are removable. So, you know, you can remove them, change them, do whatever. or maybe just remove them so that you can, you know, for sharpening. But yeah, really good action, very smooth. I did notice mine was a tiny bit stiff right out of the box as far as the closing, but you know, 50 flips later, you know, you see it's just dropping. And it's still rock solid. Very solid, man. It's surprising how solid this thing is, you know, considering the scales are magnetic. So these liners, you know, are a good thickness and are very solid, you know. And you can see it has, you know, multiple places where it's pinned together, you know, not including the pivot. You know, the press fit cover right here is very well done. You can see how, you know, how clean that looks. So you can just switch it to the other side if you want to flip the clip. Now, I like their little logo right here. I'm not sure if this is what they're going to keep going with, but that's really cool. A little octopus. That's very cool. Now, as far as nitpicks and negatives, let's talk about that. Because I have one, maybe a couple, but I have one especially. The sharpening tool and plunge grind is actually not bad. It's good as far as, you know, you'll get a few sharpenings in before you hit the plunge grind. The end of the plunge grind is about right there, right where the tip of my nail is. So you have, you know, a little bit of life to sharpen off. Now, that's not my complaint. My complaint is this edge is a little too close to the scale right here. So let me just show you something. If I went to sharpen this, you know, you see how I got to get to the edge. So when I'm sharpening, I'm coming back, I have a good chance of hitting this right here, or when you know, when you're sharpening with your stone, or if you're freehanding, it doesn't matter. You have a good chance that you could hit it. Now you also can miss it. You know, it's just you have to be careful. That's my point. You have to be very careful to not scratch your scales when sharpening. This is going to be one that if you put in a clamp system, you know, you're going to want to be careful not to rub that area. Now, yes, you can get past it. You just got to be careful. But it would have been cool if this edge started like right here, just to give you a little bit more room between the edge and the scales, you know, and, you know, it would have made a larger plunge grind, or sorry, a farther away plunge grind from the edge, which is always better, in my opinion. You know, there's going to be specific knives where, you know, you don't want it, but for the most part, most EDC knives, in my opinion, you want it. Very comfortable ergos. Oh yeah, negatives. That's really all the negatives. You know, I don't really have anything else as far as right now goes from a first impressions. I like it. I like it a lot. I love that it's unique. It is nice and centered. It's very comfortable in the hand, you know, no matter what grip I'm in. Even the gas station knife fighting grip has good balance, really good action. Yeah, this is kind of, in my opinion, and I don't want to piss anybody off by saying this, but it's kind of like a better Benchmade 940. You know, it's a little bit girthier, not by much, but it's not as robust in the grind, so it's actually a little bit slicier without being super slicey, you know, so it actually does hold some toughness. But it has a very similar blade shape as far as use goes, so you're gonna, you know, it's gonna work very similarly. The size is kind of similar to some extent. So yeah, you know, and I don't want to say better because the Benchmade 940 is iconic. It's a legend, you know. I love the way it is. It's been in most people's top, you know, 10 knives, you know, of all time. So it is definitely a knife to be cherished. And so I don't mean better, like it's a better knife. Obviously the 940 is a legend. I'm just saying, as far as modern goes, as far as 2023 goes, you know, with something unique, something different, it's kind of like that. So if you like the 940 as far as the blade shape and all that stuff, then you'd probably love this thing. Anyways, there you guys go. Just a quick first impressions, quick look at the new PIRATECH Kraken, right? Kraken? Yeah, I think it's the PIRATECH Kraken, or Kraken. However you want to pronounce it, the Kraken or Kraken. I love you guys. Work hard, stay tough. Until next time, peace.